It's a chilly day here, and the Cubs have to get used to this weather once again after a pretty warm series, obviously, in Miami against the Marlins. And the Cubs have made a roster move in terms of their bullpen. Kerry Wood has been placed on the 15-day disabled list, but it's retroactive to Saturday, so hopefully not much more than another week, and he will be back. Talked to him today. He is feeling better, got the cortisone shot. But the Cubs just needed to add to their bullpen depth. So left-hander Scott Maine, who could stretch out a little bit, his last outing with Iowa was 3 innings. He will join James Russell from the left side in the Cubs bullpen. In terms of the way the Cubs are playing right now, they need to score some runs. They won the first game of this last road trip by scoring 9 times against the St. Louis Cardinals, but haven't won since. And they're just in desperate need of a big hit. The only runs they got yesterday, a 3-run triple off the bat of Darwin Barney. Speaking of the bullpen, Gail Fisher had a chance to talk with the new top left-hander in the bullpen with Sean Marshall now in Cincinnati and the Reds here today. James Russell chatted with Gail.
All right, thanks, Len and Bob. James, obviously you're taking over for the Sean Marshall sort of role in this Cubs bullpen as the lefty, and congratulations, you're having a great season so far. You've only given up 1 hit in 3 games so far and no runs. Are you sort of just building off of what you were doing in spring training? Yeah,
I mean, just in spring training I was just working on getting comfortable with all my pitches and making sure I was finely tuned, and fastball command was a big thing, and I feel like it helped out a lot, and it's been kind of carrying over to the season.
Obviously, with Kerry Wood going on the DL, you might be in for some more late inning work, something you're sort of used to, but the bulk of that job could be going to you now. Is that something you're prepared for? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's something that you kind of, whenever you hear that Woody's a little lame, and you kind of expect that it might fall kind of more towards you, but I mean, it's not a big deal. I think I've prepared myself well enough during spring training that I can handle it. Is there a different mental approach to where you pitch in terms of in relief, if you're the setup guy, a late inning guy, versus coming in a different part of the game? I mean, there is, but you try not to think about it, and you just go out there and try and get 3 outs as quick as possible. Being the so-called replacement for Sean Marshall in this pen, what did you learn from him over the years as Sean walks by? What sort of things have you been able to take away from him? I mean, I learned a lot from him, just watching what he did last year and the year before. And just even when I was in the minor league, seeing the team play on TV and watching him throw. He's a good guy to learn from, and he's got a great knowledge of the game, and it helps that he's a lefty and I'm a lefty, and we kind of have the same array of pitches a little bit. He throws a little harder, but I think I can put it where I want to a little bit better than him. Well, I mean, he's a fun guy to have in the bullpen. It was a shame to see him leave, but I mean, if it opens up a door for me, so be it. Yeah, so you guys still have a little friendly rivalry as he's now in the closer role for the Reds. Yeah, absolutely. It's funny seeing him in the closer role now, but we'll still battle it out in video games, and I'm sure I'll whoop his butt a little bit. You and Jeff Samardzija actually are pretty good friends as well. How has he been able to take that transition? I know it was a dream for him to get into that starting rotation. How has he adapted to that? Yeah, he's handled it, I mean, as good as you can, I think. I mean, he came into spring training with a mission, and he's done great. I mean, and a guy like him, I mean, he's a big, strong kid, so I mean, he's gonna do well in most things. You and he have similar styles with the long hair. Who stole whose look? I don't know. I started growing mine out like once I got drafted, because in college I was not allowed to have long hair, so I sported the shaved head, and now I figured once I started getting paid to play baseball, I'd grow it out a little bit while I can. It suits you. Obviously keeping things nice and loose so early in the season, despite the results that the team has been having. Is that the key, though, for you guys to just stay relaxed this early? Yeah, I mean, it's still early in the season. Anything can happen. I mean, I don't think any of us can really tell future. But, I mean, we're just going at it like taking it day by day. And I mean, we want to go out there and win. We're not wanting to go out there and get our butts whooped, but
I mean, we're taking it with a grain of salt, and I still think we can turn it around.
All right, as you got a chilly day, I know you don't have the real long sleeves going, but this is what pitchers like, this kind of cold, damp weather.
Yeah, I'm sure the hitters are hating it just as much as everybody else, but I mean, it's days like this you kind of take for granted the nights in Miami.
Exactly. All right, James Russell, thank you so much. Len Bob, let's send it back up to you.
All right, Gail, thanks very much. We'll talk about the Reds, who come into this one at 5-8 when we come back. Out of the north, so blowing straight in right now from left field. As we take a look at today's opponent, the Cincinnati Reds. This is a team you expect to see a lot of offense from, but it just hasn't happened so far. The Reds yesterday in a big win over St. Louis hit 3 home runs. That was after 1 home run combined over their previous 9 games. You see the pitching even has been a little iffy, ranking just 13th in the National League. And 3 guys you always think about in this order coming into action today. Joey Votto off to a decent start. Brandon Phillips has been battling a minor leg injury, and Jay Bruce coming in at just .216 on the season. When we come back, Bob Brenly will join us. We'll talk about the starting pitchers. We'll get you set for Cubs baseball from Wrigley Field.
Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet, part of the NBC Sports Group.
Cold, windy, and overcast on the north side of Chicago today as the home team back home after a rough road trip. We get you set for Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet. It's the first of a 6-game homestand and a 3-game weekend series against Dusty Baker's Cincinnati Reds. And hi again, everyone. We're all bundled up once again. Bob Brenly and Len Casper with you. The Cubs struggling on this last trip. They won the first game scoring 9 times in St. Louis, but it's been a rough ride since.
Such a promising start to that road trip, Len, ruining opening day for the Cardinals, their celebration of the World Championship last season. But after that first game of the road trip, it was strictly downhill. I'm not great at math, but when you're averaging just over 3 runs per game offensively and giving up nearly 6.5 on the mound, you're not going to win many ball games.
Some pitching issues for the Cubs. Kerry Wood does go to the DL today. Left-hander Scott Main now in the bullpen. Chris Volstad gets the start, still looking for his first win.
Well, Chris Volstad, we've talked about it in his previous starts. He's a dead sinker ball pitcher, and with that wind blowing in today, that's exactly what you like to see. Allowed 3 earned runs in each of his 3 starts in his career against the Cincinnati Reds.
And we're pretty familiar with big right-hander Homer Bailey, and, well, he likes to pitch better at night, I guess.
He's the Barnabas Collins of the Reds pitching staff. Much better at night than he is in the daytime. They should be very, very familiar with Homer Bailey.
So right-handers for each team. We're just moments away from the first pitch. Now down to the field for our national anthem.
With our national anthem.
Well, one guy who had a really good road trip offensively, Darwin Barney, hoping his teammates can join him. Reds and Cubs coming up next.
Sportsnet is brought to you in part by your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, 75 years being right here in Illinois means no one's closer to your wellness. Experience wellness everywhere. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Responsibility. What's your policy? Toyota. Right now you can get a lot for less at your local Toyota dealer. Official partner of the Chicago Cubs. The new wireless receiver from AT&T Uverse. Visit att.com/freeyourtv. Rethink possible. BMO Harris Bank. Helping money make sense. BMO Harris Bank. NA member FDIC. And by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
Welcome back to Wrigley Field. We have some light rain this morning, but we should be okay the rest of the way. Very overcast, extremely windy. As the Reds and Cubs will play the first of 16 games here in 2012. The Cubs off to a slow start. Cincinnati as well. They're just 2-5 on their 10-game road trip. And a big day in baseball today, partner. The 100th anniversary, or birthday, if you will, of Fenway Park. The Cubs will be celebrating Wrigley Field's 100th birthday in a couple of years, but the Yankees, or should we say the Highlanders and Red Sox, will play later this afternoon wearing their uniforms from 100 years ago.
And if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's the first time the Yankees have not worn their traditional road grays since 1912.
So we'll certainly keep an eye on that one today. And I know you like to get out on the lake on days like this.
Oh, man. I can't even imagine what would possess somebody to go close to the lake today. I think our blood thinned out a little bit down there in South Florida. We woke up yesterday morning. It was close to 80 degrees, a little bit of humidity. Throw on a pair of shorts and your sneakers and a T-shirt, out the door, no problem. It took a little bit longer to get dressed today. Might be somewhat of an adjustment for the players too, Len.
Sure.
You know, in short sleeves and shorts hitting in the batting cages yesterday down at the new stadium in South Florida. But long johns are the order of the day.
Lance Barrett will work the plate. Scott Berry, crew chief Gary Darling, and Jerry Meals will handle the bases. Cubs offense yesterday came down to a triple, a 3-run 3-base hit by Darwin Barney, and then nothing really after that. And then they have to manufacture some runs this gusty day here at Wrigley as the Cubs take the field behind starter Chris Volstad. And now the Reds Southwest starting lineup. Zach Cozart's going to lead it off with Drew Stubbs in center, Joey Votto at first, Jay Bruce playing right, Scott Rowland manning third, Chris Heisey plays left, Willie Harris in there for Brandon Phillips at second, Devin Mesoraco the catcher, and Homer Bailey the pitcher.
Take a look at the Cubs defensively this afternoon. Soriano, Bird, and DeJesus left to right across the outfield. Stewart and Castro once again on the left side, while Darwin Barney and Brian LaHare will man the right side. Giovanni Soto behind the dish for right-hander Chris Volstad. Chris Volstad from Florida, wearing the short sleeves. Our Lexus Pursuing Perfection starting pitcher, making his third start of the season. We've talked about him in his previous 2 starts, a severe ground ball pitcher. Although on a day like this, especially to the right-handed pull hitters in this Reds lineup, if push comes to shove and you find yourself in a hitter's count and you have to challenge, throw it up over the heart of the plate and let them see how far they can hit it, because that wind is howling in from left field.
I know you're wondering just how cold it is.
Really cold.
It's cold. Well, we'll tell you momentarily how cold it is. He's not cold.
He's got a few extra layers of insulation.
Zach Cozart to lead it off. Reds for 3, and then the Cardinals for 3 before the Cubs hit the road once again late next week. Here we go. Volstad to Cozart, a called strike on a fastball, and we're underway. .42 degrees. A 35-degree wind chill, and the wind is out of the northwest at 17 miles an hour.
Just the way we like it.
One-two on the way. Green plays here. Comcast Sportsnet celebrates Earth Week. Foul tip, strike 3.
Well, then we talked about the struggles of the Cincinnati Reds offensively in the early going. As Cozart goes down on a foul tip right into the mid of Giovanni Soto. Another byproduct of that is when Dusty Baker does get runners on base, because they are struggling so bad offensively, they haven't been very aggressive. Only 2 stolen bases in 4 attempts so far this season, and the Reds do have some players who can run.
There's one of them, Drew Stubbs, as he picks up a 1-out single.
You're not getting many opportunities and not getting many base runners. You hesitate to start a guy and maybe run yourself out of what could be a big inning. I would anticipate that the Reds are going to be much more aggressive on the bases as they move forward this season and they get their offense rolling.
There's a former Cubs skipper, Dusty Baker. 4 division titles over his 18 years as a manager. He's 2 wins away from getting into the top 20 in wins all time. First baseman Joey Votto makes a fastball outside for ball 1. We had showed you Cozart leading off. Brandon Phillips out of the lineup today, and on a day like this when you're dealing with a sprained hamstring, Dusty did not want to take any chances with Phillips, who normally leads off.
Phillips has had a measure of success against Chris Volstad in the past. 3 for 7 lifetime, also had drawn a couple of walks, but yeah, you're absolutely right. If you have any kind of a nagging injury, this is not the kind of day you want to run one of your superstars out there.
Dusty told reporters before the game, you have one long inning, or with the wet conditions you slip on the field or the wet grass, or going back on a ball, you're doing the La Cucaracha, trying to catch that ball. Nice reference.
Dusty would know. He's seen a lot of ball games in this park.
Outside corner, 2-1 on Joey Votto. Will be honored tomorrow night at the National Italian American Sports Hall of Fame. They have their awards gala here in Chicago. The Sportsman of the Year is Comcast Sportsnet Chicago president Jim Corno. Congrats to Jim. Joey Votto is the Athlete of the Year. Runner goes. Here's the throw by Soto, and it's going to get into center. So Stubbs with a steal and an error allowing him to advance 1.
Giovanni Soto now 1 for 13 on the season. Starlin Castro looked like if he fully extended there to try to receive that throw, was going to get caught up with the sliding Drew Stubbs. So he kind of short-armed it a little bit. That'll go as an E6, allowing Stubbs to advance on to third.
He's grimacing. I wonder if he's hurt. 3-1. Votto base hit. 1-0 Cincinnati. Well, we had the numbers. They were not good for the Reds coming in. Runners in scoring position, hitting under 200 as a team, hitting 219. But it's just a matter of time before they bust out.
Well, the Reds have an offense that figures to rank among the National League leaders by season's end in a number of important categories, and you just hope that they get into and out of town before they figure it out.
Led the National League with 185 home runs last year. Jay Bruce, ball one. A lot of people picking the Reds to win this division. Most prognosticators having the Reds, Brewers, and Cardinals all near the top. Have made some headlines with some long-term deals. Joey Votto and Brandon Phillips.
And the Cubs know as well as anybody that long-term deals can be a real double-edged sword. Votto and Phillips don't figure to be the kind of guys who by the end of those deals you wish you hadn't signed them, but you never know.
Now 1-2. Ballstad is from South Florida, but you see he's not wearing long sleeves like Scott Rowland and everybody else. In fact, neither is Jay Bruce, and he's from Texas. Got away from Soto, but Votto holding on at first. 2-2.
And this is the kind of day, Len, if you don't center not only a pitched ball with the bat, if you don't center a ball in your glove when you're trying to catch it, it can give you bees for a couple of innings. There's a sweet spot on a bat, and there's also a sweet spot in a glove where you'd ideally like to catch the ball every time. Generally, it's right at the base of the webbing between the thumb and the index finger, but occasionally, especially for a catcher with some late movement, that ball gets out of the sweet spot and hits you in a bad part of the hand.
Full count, 3-2. With Rowland on deck.
Second pitch in this sequence that Gio's had trouble corralling back there. Both sliders. Kind of hit him near the little finger of the glove, rattled around, and then fell out right in front at the feet of Jay Bruce.
Votto takes off, and that'll be a base hit. Runners at the corners for Rowland. 3 consecutive singles after the Cozart strikeout to start the game.
Votto on the move. He'll turn the corner at second base and advance on to third easily. You're looking for that ground ball off the bat of Scott Rowland. Hopefully get a double play and get out of this inning without any further damage.
Well, Bruce now 4 for 9 after a career-long 0 for 19. Scott Rowland, meanwhile, comes in at just 171 with no home runs. That's after a hot spring training, which is definitely in his rearview mirror now. He had 356 in Arizona. Scott Rowland is in a pretty special group in terms of third baseman. George Brett, the Hall of Famer. Chipper Jones, who probably will be there. And Rolen, the only third baseman to have 2,000 hits, 500 doubles, 300 homers, and 1,200 RBIs. In fact, only 29 major leaguers at any position have reached those benchmarks. That says nothing about his Gold Glove defense.
The runs he's prevented with his leather down there at third base.
8 Gold Gloves. A little flinch by Lance Barrett.
That pitch was off the plate away, but what a great location when you're ahead in the count. We talk all the time about trying to lead a hitter out of the strike zone. Might have started on the outside corner, but a little bit of late movement pushes it over near that left-handed batter's box, just out of the zone.
Olmsted's 2-2 with Bruce running. Bounces away from Soto, and Votto came halfway down the line before reversing field. It was called a wild pitch. It's got to be a stolen base because Bruce was running with the pitch. So they'll change that.
That's the one you never anticipate, Len, as a catcher. A fastball in the dirt. This one at 92 miles per hour. And with the runner going, Gio just tried to pick the ball out of the dirt, much like a first baseman would on a low throw, but couldn't come up with a clean one.
3-2 on Rolen. LaHair in at first, ball 4 to load him up. And here comes Chris Heisey, the left fielder. I was going to mention with Rolen, Bob, and all his accolades, I don't understand why it's been so difficult for third basemen, and we know one very well, who finally got in, unfortunately posthumously, to get in the Hall of Fame. You look at Chipper Jones, Scott Rolen, you say Hall of Fame type players, but then you look at how few third basemen have gotten in.
Fewer than any other position on the field.
Olmsted needs a ground ball, and he needs a strike first. 2-0. He's been splitting time with Ryan Ludwig in left. 2-1. Our AT&T U-verse multi-view, as the Reds already have a run in. They're threatening to get more. And they're going to get more. A couple, in fact. And a little bobble by Bird. Throw to third. Rolen's in. Throw to second. Safe there. It would be a 2-run single for Heisey. Probably an error on Bird, allowing Rolen to advance, along with Heisey.
That sinker up a little bit, about belt high out over the plate for Chris Heisey, and he found the hole up the middle of the field. Marlon Bird mishandles it. This is where you start playing chase ball like in Little League, continually throwing behind the play. Had no shot at Rolen at third base. Ian Stewart threw to second where they had no shot at Heisey.
One strike on Willie Harris. He's in there for Phillips today, even though Harris is just 1 for 12 lifetime against Volstad. Still only 1 out. 2 more in scoring position. This had been a real problem for the Reds. They were hitting 180 with men in scoring position going into this game.
This is what you fear too, Len. I mentioned it earlier. You hope they don't figure it out until after they leave Chicago. But when you have a ball club that you anticipate being a strong offensive team, and they have been struggling coming into your series, the last thing in the world you want to see is them get off to a good start in game one of a series. That's exactly what's happened for Dusty Baker here today.
Cubs have committed 2 errors in this inning, and Volstead now will be up over 30 pitches with this 0-2. LaHare will backhand. He'll take the out at first. Harris gets an RBI as Rolen scores to make it 4-0.
Cubs just looking for an out. LaHare had to go far enough to his right that he really didn't have a chance. Scott Rowland at home plate just wanted to make sure and get an out.
Here's a catcher, Devin Mesoraco. The 8th batter of the inning. He's making his 6th start. Ryan Hannigan has started 8 times.
Well, according to Baseball America, Mesoraco was the #1 prospect in the Reds organization. As a matter of fact, the #3 prospect was the leadoff hitter, Zach Cozart. So a couple of their young players already making contributions at the major league level. We haven't seen a lot of Mesoraco, but those who have feel he's going to be a really good catcher for a long time, although he might have tweaked something on that swing right there. Kind of came out of the batter's box hobbling. But when you're young, things heal fast. It looked like his right leg as he came out of that. His left leg, one of his legs.
2-2. Homer Bailey, the beneficiary of this onslaught here in the opening inning, is on deck before he even has thrown a pitch.
Not the kind of day you want to get back on your heels defensively. Be tough enough to stay warm.
He laid off back-to-back sliders as Volstead kind of worked around him with a pitcher coming up. Here is Homer Bailey. The Cubs do have some bullpen help. As we mentioned on the pregame show, Kerry Wood put on the disabled list with right shoulder fatigue. He is feeling better, and it is retroactive to Saturday. So hopefully will only be out another week or so. Left-hander Scott Main is here and is available today. The other update is Ryan Dempster has a sore right quad, so his start on Sunday possibly in doubt. And if he can't go, probably be Randy Wells, who did not make the opening day roster but has been starting at AAA Iowa. A lot of pitches for any inning, but especially right off the bat. 1-2 on the way, swing and a miss to finally end the inning. They get 4 runs, and the Cubs are coming up. Lead it off. We mentioned Darwin Barney had a very good road trip, 320 over his last 6. Castro, LaHare, Soriano going to split up the lefties today because of the Reds bullpen. More on that later. Soto, Bird, and Volstead will round it out.
So the Reds will line it up defensively today. Chris Heisey, Drew Stubbs, and Jay Bruce left to right across the outfield. As Len mentioned, the perennial Gold Glover, 8 of them at home for Scott Rowland. He'll be at third. Zach Cozart at short. Willie Harris at second. Joey Votto over at first base. Devin Mesoraco doing the catching for right-hander Homer Bailey. See his numbers after 2 starts this season. Fastball, curveball, slider, split combination, throwing a lot more fastballs and sliders this year than he did last season. Granted, it's very early on, but maybe trying to be a little bit more of a power pitcher in the early going this season, staying away from his slower breaking pitches.
2 starts, 2 losses for Bailey, who has struggled against the Cubs. 6 career starts to a 6.75 ERA, even though he's gone 2-2. Did you tell me where he's from, though?
I'm pretty sure he's from LaGrange. There's a rumor spreading around.
Deep to left and caught. Jesus trying to keep that ball under the wind, but Heisey makes a catch.
David DeJesus has hit the ball pretty well the last couple of games with very little to show for it. Deep fly ball to straightaway center. He's getting some high fives in the dugout for driving that ball as far as he did into the wind of the opposite field. It's small consolation. This game is based on numbers, but keep squaring them up like that often enough, you're going to get your share of hits.
Here is Barney, who tripled home 3 to give the Cubs a short-lived lead early on yesterday in Miami. And a 2-0 count. I mentioned the lineup with LaHare moving up and hitting cleanup. Dale Swain put Alfonso Soriano between LaHare and Stewart. You got to think a little bit more about splitting up your lefties against this Reds bullpen later, Bob, because they've got Sean Marshall as their closer. They have Aroldis Chapman as their setup guy, and they have Bill Bray, who's kind of the matchup lefty. I don't want to make it too easy for Dusty to bring Bray in whenever he wants.
The only thing that could possibly change that is if one of your 2 left-handed hitters is a guy that you would pinch hit for against a left-handed pitcher, but that's not the case with either Ian Stewart or Brian LaHare.
A roller to Cozart. A low throw. Votto can't handle it. Is it just me, or have we seen a lot of just lazy throws? Starlin Castro's made a few, but on routine plays to the left side.
It's about as routine as it gets. Cozart has it in good shape, enough time to square his body. He just spikes it over there to Joey Votto, who won a Gold Glove of his own last year. Normally a very sure-handed defender over there at first, but even he couldn't pick that one out of the dirt.
Seems like a lot of shortstops, because they're so athletic and so good, they'd almost rather have to hurry to make a throw. When they have time is when they make mistakes. We'll see if the Cubs can take advantage. Fastball strike. See, Cozart's taking a page out of your book. He's been blowing on his throwing hand ever since that errant toss. It is cold.
Yeah. Zach Cozart wants to make sure everybody in the ballpark knows that his right hand was very cold. That's
bad hand. Bad hand.
Bad. We've seen a lot of ugly broken bats. This one just a little splinter on a slider away. They wouldn't have even noticed it.
Inside, and it's 1-2.
It's like when a pitcher throws one halfway up the backstop and then turns around and starts digging at the mound. You know, he landed wrong. There's a pebble in my landing hole.
Something with the equipment. Castro has just been very consistent. Really since the day he came up to the big leagues 2 years ago. And there's another base hit for Starlin. So his hitting streak now at 8. And 2 on for Brian LaHare.
Well, as poor as the road trip was for the Cubs as a team, this is something we got accustomed to seeing. Darwin Barney and Starwin Castro finding their way on base. Unfortunately, just couldn't find enough offense from the guys hitting behind him in the order. Today it'll be Brian LaHare in that number 4 spot, followed by Alfonso Soriano.
LaHare with an 8-gamer. One ball, one strike. Cubs went just 7-11 against Cincinnati last year. And over the last 2 years combined, 11-23. Cincy has really had the Cubs number. Reds are coming off a pretty disappointing follow-up to their division championship in 2010. They went 79-83 last year. It was their 10th losing season out of the last 11. A swing and a miss, strike 3. See Wrigley Field through the eyes of former Cub players in our all-new VIP Living Legend Tour. This once-in-a-lifetime opportunity gives you the chance to hear the stories from the players who lived them firsthand. Join Cubs Hall of Famer Fergie Jenkins on April 26th at 11 a.m. For more info or to purchase tickets, call 1-800-THE-CUBS or visit Cubs.com/tours. Two on, two down. Here's Soriano. Caught the inside corner. We've already seen Bailey work the inside part of the plate a fair amount here in the opening inning.
It's a good day to do it. I mean, some pitchers hesitate to pitch inside when the conditions are good. They're afraid somebody might turn on one and hit it out of the ballpark. But this is the kind of day a hitter's reactions are going to be just a little bit slower. I mentioned it earlier. If you happen to get jammed or hit a ball off the end of the bat in your first AB of the game, you may be carrying around a handful of bees for several innings. This is the kind of day pitchers get a little more brave.
Here the vendors selling hot chocolate in the stands. It's a great day for it. Actually, it's a great day for hot anything. Hot ice cream.
Good day for some hot bats for the Cubs. Get something going offensively. As a team, only hitting .215 with runners in scoring position. The man at the plate has had the most at bats with runners in scoring position this year, 3 for 15. He's driven in 7 with his 3 hits, but I see that average up there a lot higher.
And on the hands It's like that's Bailey's MO today. We talked about Devin Mesoraco, the #1 prospect for the Reds. Homer Bailey was that guy 3 years running, 05, 06, 07. He's been in their system since 2004. He's only 25. He turns 26 on May 3rd. Broken bat floater out into center. It's going to hold up for Drew Stubbs. Cubs lead 2. They trail 4-0 after 1. Chris Volstad and settle in here after a rough first inning. He struck out the leadoff guy, Cozart. Then 5 Reds in a row reached. Shallow right to Jesus, hustling over, and he makes the grab for the out. And once again, we want to extend a big-time congrats to our boss, Comcast Sportsnet Chicago President Jim Corno Sr. on being named the 2012 Sportsman of the Year by the National Italian American Sports Hall of Fame. He'll be honored at the Hall's annual awards gala on Saturday night. Congrats, Jim. Well deserved. Stubbs with a single, a steal, and a run in the first inning. Last year, Drew Stubbs struck out 205 times,
wow.
The third most ever in a single season.
It's a ridiculously high number, especially for a guy with his kind of speed.
Lifted into shallow left center. Starlin Castro on the spot. He had to come way back near second base.
Remember coming to Wrigley Field when you were a kid and imagining it was you running onto the field? Well, now envision being able to give that experience to your best clients when the Cubs are on the road. Packages range from private dinners all the way to games and home run derbies in the outfield. For more details, call 773-404-4161 or visit Cubs.com/premier.
Joey Votto into left. Maybe that was the key for Volstad. Get him to hit the ball in the air. 4-0 Reds early. Comcast Sportsnet. Tonight, Tribune writers Bob Foltman and Paul Sullivan will join Cap to discuss the day's hottest sports topics and set the table for the night ahead. Chicago Tribune Live, presented by Captain Morgan, tonight at 5:30 on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend. Cubs third baseman Ian Stewart will lead off the home half of the second against Homer Bailey, who's making just his second career start here at Wrigley Field. His debut here was back in 2009, September 13th, a 5-2 Reds loss. Since the Cubs beat St. Louis 1 week ago today, including this afternoon, they have been outscored 38-10. Having lost 5 in a row going into action today. It's a slicing drive. Heisey dives and makes the catch. What a play by Heisey.
I don't think there was any chance Chris Heisey was going to catch up to that line drive off the bat of Ian Stewart. Being a left-handed batter, that ball had a lot of side English going out there into the wind. I thought that would just get knocked down, head for the corner, but Heisey made up a lot of ground, used that long outfielder's glove to full effect that time.
Giovanni Soto, 2 hits yesterday. It's still hitting just 167. And his average actually went up 42 points.
Got the ball hard in another at bat in the ball game yesterday as well, but baby steps. Start working your way back. Like I said earlier with David DeJesus, you just want to start squaring some balls up, hitting them hard.
Drew Stubbs.
Hey fans, new in 2012 is Cubs Authentics, the premier outlet for special MLB authenticated Cubs memorabilia. From game-used baseballs, bases, and jerseys to autographed bats and photos, Cubs Authentic has the most exclusive Cubs memorabilia. Visit the Wrigley Field Concourse, the Cubs store, or email CubsAuthentics@Cubs.com for all your Cubs memorabilia needs.
Struggling Marlon Byrd. Was 3 for 40 to start the year. I asked him before the game, Bob, I said, you know, you're such a hard worker. Are you finding that you're working more now, or are you backing off? He said, I'm not changing anything. He said, my routine has led to my success in my career. And he believes that when younger players get into trouble, it's when they panic and that they change up too many things. And he felt that early in his career, when he was asked to change some things, that it did not help. Unfortunately, it's been a long slump for Marlon, but he's going to continue doing what he's doing. 4-0 Cincy. Question. The Reds have 9,999 wins as a franchise. Can you name the 5 ahead of them with at least 10,000 all-time wins? Diamondbacks,
Rays,
Mets. I will give you this. They're all in the National League, which makes sense because that is the senior circuit. Started up 25 years before the American League did. Shift against left-handed hitting Jay Bruce. Over to the pull side on the infield. And now Castro going with a 2-0 count all the way over on the other side of the bag. 2-1.
The more the count is in the hitter's favor, the more likely he is to pull the ball. So once it went to 2-0, the Cubs bench had Starlin move over on the second base side of the bag.
Kick foul. I'll give you a couple of other interesting notes before we give you the answer. 5 franchises. All 5 have won more than they've lost. All over 500 all time. And there's only one of those 5 teams that has lost 10,000 games. So that'll be the addendum to our AT&T question today. 3-2 pitch, smacked on the ground and backhanded by LaHare, but he dropped it. Boy, I tell you, I was just going to say Brian LaHare has played much better defense here the last week or so and fielded that ball cleanly, but then he just couldn't pick it up, and the Cubs have already committed 3 errors today.
Couple steps to his backhand side, got it in the glove in good shape, but when he went to grab it with his bare hand and shovel onto Chris Volstad covering first, he just lost the handle. Not making excuses because it's cold for everybody out there on the field, but that could be directly related to standing out there blowing on your throwing hand, trying to stay warm between pitches. Just did not feel that ball come out of the glove.
Scott Rowland looks at a strike. His next double will tie him with Roberto Alomar for 50th on the all-time doubles list. He's now tied with Andre Dawson, 503 doubles, tied for 51st. Ahead of Robbie Alomar is Tony Perez with 505, and then Babe Ruth with 506.
That got away with a hanging breaking ball there on the inside part of the plate, maybe off the plate inside. Kind of squeezed that one back toward the middle of the plate to get the call from home plate umpire Lance Barrett.
Do me a favor here this weekend. Don't hunch over. Really relax your shoulders.
I'm trying.
You threw out your back on the last homestand. Shivering.
You have to go see a trainer before you can announce a game. Yeah. Still getting old.
Bruce goes. Roland fouls into the upper deck.
Well, I don't need to tell fans that have ever sat out here on a cold, windy day at Wrigley Field that particular sensation when your shoulders are pressed up against your ears all day, just trying to stay warm.
I've been told that that makes you colder when you tense up, that if you relax, that'll warm you up a little bit. But it's really hard to test that theory sometimes. Bruce not running, and Roland hits another foul. I think we were all spoiled by the mildest winter we can ever remember.
To use an overworked cliche that you hear a lot in sports nowadays, it is what it is. You can't change the weather. You just have to deal with it as best you can. But in our particular sport, Len, I think cold weather has caused more damage to this game than anything else. You just can't stay loose. You can't do the things that you want to do or that you know you can do without an extreme effort. Wearing so many clothes, you can't feel your legs. You can't lift your arms above your shoulders because you've got Under Armour shirts on. And it just changes so much about the game and how you play it.
Line to Castro. He'll throw to first. They'll get it. Double play. As Bruce got caught in no man's land and couldn't get back in time.
Hit right on the button by Scott Rowland. Fortunately, right to Starlin Castro in his tracks. This time he does make a good strong throw across the diamond. An awkward looking slide back into the bag that time. Yeah, that's pretty awkward.
Good curveball to Heisey, who knocked in a pair with a first inning single. Doubled his RBI total for the year. Rush to center. Bird back. Wind killed it. So the error doesn't hurt Volstead as he gets helped by that double play line out. 4-0 Reds.
Defense. They say a pitcher's best friend is the double play. Well, that and a 17-mile-an-hour wind blowing straight in, but the line drive off the bat of Scott Rowland turns into a double play. Garland-Caster with a good strong throw onto Brian LaHare just in time to get Chris Heisey at first base. Or rather, Jay Bruce at first base. Chris Heisey was the guy that was trying to battle that wind, fly it out to Marlon Byrd in center field.
Chris Volstead leading off the Cubs third. Two and 0. In the right center through Stubbs. So the Cubs have lined out a few times. First time through the order. The Jesus lined out for the first. Called strike. Lance Berkman has gone to the disabled list. That strained left calf continuing to bother him. Came back briefly in that series against the Reds. He will miss that series coming up here at Wrigley Field early next week. Pizza's probably good whether it's hot or cold or warm or
anywhere in between. Yeah, you got that right.
Ryan Wilson underwent successful Tommy John surgery yesterday. Votto chatting with the first base umpire, Scott Barry. Quite sure what Votto's talking to Barry about.
Judging by his body language, it looked like he was talking about if you extended that first base coach's box line to where Dave McKay is standing, that he's too close to the field.
Line in the left and a base hit. So DeJesus did what he did in his first at bat. He hit it a little lower, dropped in front of Heisey.
Don't hit it quite so hard as you did last time. It's a clean single into left field.
Marty takes ball one outside. You prefer a hot dog today? Again, anything with the word hot in it is a good thing on a frigid day like this.
The only problem is foul. In the time it took to smother that thing in ketchup, it's not hot anymore. Just foul down that third baseline. Very nearly clipped the edge of the bag that sits right on that third baseline. Of course, if that ball touches any part of that base, it would have been a fair ball.
DeJesus runs. Bailey with a nice snag to get Barney. 2 down.
Goes without saying, with that wind howling straight in from left field, it doesn't figure to be the kind of day where you're going to get runs back in a hurry with the long ball. So take them where you can get them. Big 2-out knock right here by Starlin Castro would probably get the Cubs on the board.
And Castro launches deep left center.
Oh.
And dropped. So Castro will end up at second as Chris Heisey got to the spot. The ball seemed to hit him right in the chest. And it's 4-1.
Can't hit it much harder than that. If that ball doesn't go, chances are we're not going to see a ball hit out of here to left field. A hanging breaker to Starlin Castro. He squared it up perfectly. And Heisey boxed it up pretty nice out there on the warning track.
That is an error on Heisey. We have already seen 5 errors combined. 3 by the Cubs, 2 by the Reds.
Well, did I mention how cold weather affects the game?
You did.
I mean, the Reds are the best fielding team in the National League and probably will be at the end of the season. They've got gold glovers all over the diamond. This is not a good day to showcase the leather. Talking about the home run ball, the left-handers have a chance. If you can start that ball fair enough down that right field line, You got a chance to get one out of here, but as I said, if Starlin Castro's ball didn't get out, it's going to be tough to shoot one out of here to left field today. Straight in.
Toward right and through for a base hit. Castro around third. It's 4-2. They've cut the deficit in half here with 2 outs. A couple of unearned runs.
Nothing against Willie Harris, who's a fine utility player and has been for a long time, but you have to wonder if Brandon Phillips at 100% health were in the lineup if that ball gets through. Cubs will definitely take it.
Wild pitch to Soriano. That one lined foul, right side out of play. They are underway in Boston. Yankees on top 1-0 in the top of the first. Ivan Nova for the Yanks. Clay Buchholz for the Red Sox. Curtis Granderson is in a big slump. He's 0 for 1. He hit 3 home runs last night against the Twins. 5 hits for Granderson. Rolen will pick it up and throw to Harris as they force Leher. 2 unearned runs for the Cubs. It's now 4-2 after 3. Question. The Reds trying to join this pretty exclusive group. 5 franchises with at least 10,000 wins. The Giants, the Cubs, the Dodgers, Cardinals, and Braves, all with 10,000 plus wins. The only of that particular bunch with at least 10,000 losses, the Braves, who are 9 games over 500 all time. Oh. 2008 is when the Cubs got their 10,000th all time win. Now the Giants started in New York. The Dodgers started in Brooklyn. The Braves started in Boston, so on that list so far as Harris strikes out. Cubs and Cardinals, and the Reds trying to join them as the only teams still in the same city.
Relatively quick inning in the third for the Cubs defensively, and for Chris Volstad, hoping for more of the same here, facing the bottom of the Reds order. A quick 3-pitch strikeout of Willie Harris. Well, have to work a little harder to get 3 this inning.
Zarocco's been on twice, a walk and a single. Bailey in a bunting spot. And he takes a strike on the outside corner. Wind blowing even harder, really gusting at the moment. We started with a northwest wind at 17. Oh, 2.
Only his third start of the season, but Bailey's yet to put down a sac bunt. Had 5 last season, 23 ball games.
Dealing with shoulder injuries the last couple of years, Homer Bailey. And he bunts foul. That's a strikeout. Check out our Menards grounds crew getting this field ready for a big league ball game this afternoon.
A little extra work for the Menards ground crew today. Not only do they drag the infield, put down the stripes, they have to de-ice the bases between innings.
A wonderful job here with the guidance of Roger Baird. Strike on Cozart. Base hit right field. 2 singles in the inning. I say under the guidance of the head groundskeeper Roger Baird, but he gets his hands dirty. You're the head groundskeeper at any big league ballpark. You're not telling people what to do. You're out there doing it.
Pretty nice piece of hitting that time by young Zach Cozart. Stayed on that breaking ball, shot it through the right side where the hole was. And you talked about Drew Stubbs and his 205 punch outs last season, and I said for a guy with his speed, that's ridiculous. Now, how does speed relate to strikeouts? I'm just thinking with 2 strikes, if he would shorten up his swing, just try to put the ball in play somewhere, with his speed, he's not only going to avoid some strikeouts, but he's going to get a lot more base hits. But I would assume that's something that's been mentioned to him many, many times.
Well, it's not just the strikeouts. I mean, he did walk 63 times last year. But this year, 15 strikeouts, 2 walks. As that is going to find the right field corner, and the Reds are going to get those runs right back on a double by Stubbs. And it's 6-2.
A little bit of an oddity for Drew Stubbs, who's normally a dead pull hitter, but clearly going to the opposite field that time with a breaking pitch. Hit it hard past David DeJesus all the way down into that right field corner, cleaning off the bases.
So after the Cubs got on the board, the Reds strike right back. Mention the deals for Phillips and Votto. Phillips got a 6-year deal. Votto 10 plus the 2 he already had. So a 12-year guarantee for Votto, the longest in Major League history. It's now 6-2 Cincinnati.
Locos Tacos from Taco Bell.
Drew Stubbs with a 2-run double. It's now 6-2 Reds as Ian Stewart will lead off for the Cubs in the bottom of the 4th. Two and 0 the count. Scott Maine just called up and he's grabbed the ball in the Cubs bullpen. Pitcher spot may come up here in the inning. The 3-0 is a strike. It's Earth Week. Take a walk. It's good for you and good for the planet. Green lives here. Maybe Ian Stewart does that. Instead, he's going to line out. Another hard hit ball for an out.
Now,
He's had 2 of them.
Yeah, he's had 2 of them. Lined out the left in his first at bat of the ball game, and this time a bullet to Joey Votto at first base. Big old hang with him. Swinging it. Got a good pitch to hit. Hit it right on the button. Unfortunately, right at the Reds' first baseman.
Soto bounces to Scott Rowland. 2 down.
Don't miss the action as the Cubs take on the Cardinals this Monday at Wrigley Field. Game time is 7:05, but be sure to arrive early. The first 10,000 fans 21 and older will receive Cubs fleece gloves, compliments of Budweiser. For more information or to purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com.
Bird bounced out to short his first time up. Just to follow up on the conversation I had with him, we did not talk about mechanical tweaks or any changes that way regarding his hitting slump. It's more about his work habits, something he just said he wants to maintain that consistency, but he continues to struggle. And that was a very quick 1, 2, 3. stands the chance to win free food if the Cubs get a base hit in the 5th inning. Fans with a base hit for Burritos game card win a free entree. Bundled up today.
That's my favorite kind of food.
Free. There you go if you're looking for heat. Some jalapenos on it. Jay Bruce. As Volstead gets one more inning. This spot due to lead off the bottom of the 5th. No doubt it'll be a pinch hitter. Blake DeWitt was on deck and would have hit had Marlon Byrd reached. Well, looking ahead to action around baseball under the lights. Carlos Zambrano will kick off the Marlins road trip in Washington against left-hander Ross Detweiler. Detweiler 1-0 with a 0.90 ERA. Z still looking for his first win. A couple of blown saves cost him wins in his first 2 starts. Nationals off to a great start. Cardinals are in Pittsburgh. Lance Lynn will face Charlie Morton. Lynn is 2-0. He's been filling in for Chris Carpenter.
Getting back to the Nationals for just a moment, they've got to feel pretty good about it, missing a couple of very key pieces to their team. Their closer Drew Storen and Michael Morse, their fine offensive outfielder, both on the disabled list, and they're still cruising right along.
Good lefty matchup in New York. Giants and Mets. Barry Zito off to a good start against John Neese. They've combined to go 3-0 to start the year. Cubs Destinations provides fans with the most unique behind-the-scenes VIP game experiences available. Each package includes great tickets, first-class hotel accommodations, a special Cubs gift bag, a tour of the ballpark, and a private meet and greet with a current Cub. And for more info, visit Cubs.com. Tapper back to Volstead, who gets off the mound and throws out Bruce. Well, we mentioned this earlier. Curtis Granderson with a career type night last night. He homered in his first 3 at bats, would add 2 more hits later. Also, Derek Jeter tied Dave Winfield with his 3,110th career hit, and Mariano Rivera adding to his all-time saves record. He got number 606. Line to right, and it's to Jesus. The Twins were bidding to win their first series in New York since 2001. With the Yankees getting last night's game, it was a 2-2 split. So Ron Gardenhire, as the Twins manager, has never won a regular season series at either Yankee Stadium.
More related Derek Jeter news. If you're in the real estate market, he's looking to sell his bachelor pad in New York, and it's discounted. He marked it way down from $20 million 2 years ago. You can get it now for $17.95.
We'll take a look at it.
You should. 360-degree views of Manhattan. 4 bedrooms, 5.5 bath.
Oh, it's in Manhattan?
Yeah.
I thought it was in Chicago. Okay.
If you can afford to buy a house like this, charter a jet and commute.
I think it's a really good bargain for somebody like us. I mean, you could actually spend about 3 nights there a year. Wouldn't have to stay in a hotel when we play the Mets.
Out to about $6 million a night.
That's what it costs at the Plaza, right? And Stewart gets Chris Heisey. 6-2 Reds midway in the 5th. A pinch hitter Blake DeWitt for Chris Volstad. By the way, happy 39th birthday to Todd Hollandsworth. Partner.
Must have thought the Rangers or the Astros were in town. You're all welcome here at Wrigley. I like this matchup, Len. Blake DeWitt hitting against Homer Bailey, whose given name is David DeWitt Bailey, named Homer after his great grandfather.
Cubs continuing to struggle to get quality performances out of the 4 and 5 spots in the rotation. 6 runs, 5 earned, allowed by Volstad, and Bob, you hit it right on the head as Blake DeWitt gets his first pinch hit of the season, a leadoff double.
But it's a nice piece of hitting, pitched down and away. You can see Blake DeWitt had his head right down the barrel of the bat, shoots it past Scott Rowland into that left field corner for a leadoff double. Good start.
Jesus with a high pop fly. Bruce over near the line. DeWitt tagging. He slides in safely.
It's time now to take a look at our Coors Light freeze cam. Enough said. we salute the fans that chose to come out here on a day like this. We definitely appreciate them putting up with the elements.
Barney takes a strike. Right field, and the wind will push this ball foul. Cubs with 2 runs today, but unearned runs. We're down 4-0 before they ever took an at bat. Roland will get the out at first. Barney gets his 6th RBI of the year. 6-3 now.
Once again, you got to cash him in whenever you get opportunities. That was a perfect situation for the Cubs with the pinch hitter in the number 9 spot, Blake DeWitt, hitting a double. De Jesus moved him up with the fly ball to right field, and then Darwin Barney with a ground ball out to third base gets Blake DeWitt on the plate. Talk about the fact that Barney and Castro have been getting on base a lot, haven't been able to get them on the plate. Well, get some guys on base in front of the hot hitters.
Sean Camp, with 2 scoreless innings yesterday, will be the new Cubs pitcher in the 6th. The bullpen will try to hold the Reds right where they are. A light mist earlier. I think we're generally dry at the moment. Bailey's next offering, and Harris falls down from a knee. He will get the out as Castro in frustration slams his helmet down. He struck that ball well. They get 1. It's now 6-3. Nightly on Sportsnet Central, presented by AT&T Ubers. Coming up tonight at 6:30, the Hawks prepare for Game 5, and the Bulls regroup after being burned by the Heat. Join Pat Boyle for Sportsnet Central, presented by AT&T Ubers, tonight at 6:30, only on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. Right-hander Sean Camp is on here in the 6th. And Willie Harris greets him by depositing one into the right field corner for an extra base hit. That'll be a leadoff double for Harris.
Willie Harris not wasting any time whatsoever. First sinker he sees on the inside part of the plate, he promptly spanks down into that right field corner. Camp's last 2 outings have been 2 innings each, and in each one of those outings he gave up only 1 base hit.
King ball outside to Mesoraco. Pretty neat story. The Baseball Hall of Fame has offered 49-year-old Jamie Moyer an internship after he made history becoming the oldest pitcher to ever win a game. We've got a fan on the field. We won't show it as Soto and Camp talk it over. But Jamie said he's not that up on baseball history. So the Hall of Fame basically said, come on in. Come to Cooperstown when you're done. And you'll learn all you need to know about baseball as Scott Maine is up in the Cubs pen. The question is, I don't know if Jamie's ever going to retire from pitching. We have an extra moment. Let's look ahead. The Cubs' upcoming schedule. The Cardinals come in Monday. Cubs' next off day will be a travel day on Thursday before heading to Philadelphia. The Hall of Fame has a 10-week internship program. 15 students from across the country. That's not a bad internship, huh?
That would be fun.
There'll be a lot of Cub fans in Cooperstown in July as the late Ron Santo is inducted, and the Red great Barry Larkin also gets in this year. Pretty good left side of your infield, wouldn't it? Sano and Larkin.
Thinking the same thing. I think Ron would be very happy to go in alongside Barry Larkin. Barry Larkin played the game the right way. Very unselfish superstar player.
Two and one on Mesoraco. Larkin spent his entire 19-year career as a Red. Was the NL MVP in 1995. Tap toward third, charged by Stewart, barehanded throw. Tardy, it's a base hit.
That's about all you can do if you're Ian Stewart playing deep. For the Reds catcher, a little slow tapper to that left side. That's a perfect barehanded play, but just not enough time to get Mesoraco at first base. He still runs pretty good. He's young. Give him some time.
So Bailey now in a safety squeeze spot, trying to get that runner at first into scoring position. Or he's just going to swing away. Well, when you played third and you were expecting a bunt and a guy did that, I mean, you may not have been told to do that as he's going down to talk it over with Mark Berry. Did your life flash before your eyes, or you just stand your ground, right?
Yeah, that's all you can do. I mean, you see where Ian Stewart is, several steps in front of the bag at third, just like we were anticipating a bunt, and then you don't see the guy start to square around, and your heart rate starts to go up a little faster and a little faster, and it doesn't slow down until you see that ball get past him.
Bob, I was told, chatting with one of the umpire supervisors, that that particular move may go by the wayside at some point. That fake to third, throw to first. Bunted foul.
Just by definition, a balk is an attempt to deceive a runner. Is that not an attempt to deceive a runner when you step toward third, fake a throw, and wheel around toward first?
And how often does it work? That's the other thing. Does it really fundamentally change the game if you get rid of it?
Yeah. I mean, it works often enough for guys to continue to do it. You know, if you get the right base runners, if you get some blockhead over there at first base that isn't really paying much attention to the game, occasionally you can pick them off with that fake to third, throw to first, but it happens so infrequently that nobody would miss it.
Bailey with a ground ball. This will get the Reds a run on a fielder's choice, and it's 7-3. So it seems like every time the Cubs score here, the Reds come right back.
You got to tip your cap to Homer Bailey, just getting the bat on the ball, produced a run in that situation.
Well, how about this one? How many times have you seen a pickoff attempt at third where the pitcher actually throws the ball?
Not many, but if you think about a tie game or a one-run ball game with a runner at third base and a right-handed pitcher on the mound,
it's like a lefty thrown to first,
yeah,
right?
Why wouldn't you just position your third baseman on the bag and do it exactly like you do at first base with a left-handed pitcher?
I think one answer is an errant throw to third is a run.
There you go.
That's one risk. Soto blocked it, and Bailey's going to stay.
I'll tell you, the funny thing is, Len, there's a lot of right-handed pitchers that have a very deceptive move to third base, but never used. As a matter of fact, I would venture to guess that there's more right-handed pitchers with good moves to third base than there are left-handed pitchers with good pickoff moves to first.
Interesting.
And I think it's because right-handers never get to use it, so they know how to disguise it. They make it look like their delivery to home plate, and some left-handed pitchers just never get the knack of doing that on their pickoff moves to first. Barrett has got a huge zone back there. For me, he's an umpire that you can influence by the way you catch the ball behind home plate.
Swing and a miss. Got him on a breaking ball for strike three. So Cozart is retired. The new Chicago Cubs baseball summer camps offer children ages 5 to 13 of all abilities the ultimate major league experience for 8 one-week sessions in 6 convenient locations around the Chicago area. Join fellow teammates for a week of top-notch baseball instruction, exclusive access, and unforgettable moments. Visit Cubs.com/camps to sign up your future Cub today. Speaking of Camp, Sean Camp. It's out of the 6th. They do get a run. 7-3 Reds.
Into Phoenix for a Game 5 duel in the desert. Tune in at 7 for Inside Look, Dennis Savard. Then at 7:30, it's Monuments to Excellence, the story of Bobby Hull and Stan Mikita. Game coverage begins at 8:30 with Chevy Blackhawks pregame live. Blackhawks and Coyotes Game 5 only on Comcast Sportsnet.
Homer Bailey helping out his own cause, knocking in a run in the 6th after the Cubs got one in the bottom of the 5th. So it's now 7-3. And he'll face LaHare, Soriano, and Stewart, the middle 3 in the Cubs order. Kick in the 0-1 pitch. LaHare sprays it foul. Ted Lilly tries to start the year 2-0. Dodgers are in Houston tonight. Ted began the year on the DL with a neck injury. That splits the gap for LaHare on an 0-2 offering at that. And has a leadoff double. Already with a 9-game hitting streak, his second hit today.
And the second inning in a row, the Cubs have led off with a double. It was Blake DeWitt back in that 5th inning. This time Brian LaHare to right center field.
Strike to Soriano. Rangers are in Detroit this weekend. Texas beat the Tigers 10-3 last night. Yu Darvish got his second consecutive win, and Texas is hot. Rangers are 11-2, and they've won 7 in a row. Rangers are 6-0 on the road. Matt Harrison and Rick Porcello tonight.
That's because the Rangers can't wait to hit. On the road, they get to bat first.
Like Yu Darvish has settled in. He's 2-0 in his first 3 starts with a 3.57 ERA. He's walked 13 guys, however, in 17 2/3 innings. Talked the other day about how great their bullpen has been. Gets past, should be a passed ball on Mesoraco, allowing LaHare to get to third.
That's a pass ball on Devin Mesoraco, but that's a tough one. Watch where he sets up. He's on the inside corner. They want to bust Soriano in with a fastball, and Homer Bailey cuts one on the outside corner. Just couldn't get his glove over there quickly enough. It will go as a pass ball. Crooked number up on that board one time.
Ground ball to short. Soriano knocks in a run. Another bad throw by Cozart. This time Votto does help out his shortstop. 7-4.
Triple pump that time by Cozart. Had plenty of time to get that ball across the diamond. And still spikes it in the dirt to Joey Votto, who's up to the task this time.
Just looking at the Rangers pitching staff, their starters are 9-0 with a 2.37. Their relievers are 2-2 with a 2.43. And their bullpen in 33 1/3 innings, 31 strikeouts, 3 walks. Scott Maine up again. As a team, they're hitting .306, slugging .521. I mean, that is a juggernaut.
Yeah, it really is.
In Texas.
It really is. Not taking anything away from their pitching staff, but when you get run support like that on a nightly basis, you're going to have good numbers.
Josh Hamilton's hitting .426, Michael Young at .400, Ian Kinsler .321, David Murphy .313. Mike Napoli has 5 home runs. Stewart in the air the other way, surrounded by Heisey.
Goes without saying that the Rangers lead the American League, lead Major League Baseball in home runs. Kind of interesting to fans to know who's number 2 in the American League in home runs offensively.
As a team?
As a team.
I have no idea.
Rangers going into play
Cleveland?
tonight have 23. The Baltimore Orioles with 21 home runs.
Go off the board a little bit. Swing and a miss. A ball at 2 strikes. And on the hands of Soto, and he fights it off foul.
We don't want to talk about who has the fewest home runs in Major League Baseball. Fortunately, the Cubs sitting on 5. There are 8 players in Major League Baseball who have 5 or more home runs.
Soto has 1, Stewart 1, Brian LaHair 2, Darwin Barney has 1. That's it. Carlos Marmol looks on as Soto bounces one to Harris at second. Cubs pecking away one at a time here. It's 7-4 at the end of 6. And subscribe to MLB.tv today to see every Cubs out-of-market game live online and on your favorite devices in HD quality. Visit Cubs.com to order today and get more details. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. Scott Maine just recalled today from AAA Iowa, with Kerry Wood going to the disabled list. 20 major league appearances for Maine over the last 2 seasons, all as a Cub. We'll face Joey Votto to start the 7th. Stacey King, Chicago Bulls TV analyst, will conduct the stretch today. 2-0 on Votto. Reds lead by 3. They scored 4 times in the opening inning. Went to the University of Miami, born in Jupiter, Florida. And the pitch, ball 4.
And his limited exposure at the major league level last year, that's something that plagued Scott Maine. He pitched 7 innings for the Cubs last year in 7 ball games, surrendered 11 hits, also walked 5 batters. A big time strikeout pitcher at the minor league level. Just can't consistently find the zone here.
Lendy Castillo has a ball. He's looking for his glove. I got my jacket. Gotta have my glove. It's funny, isn't it? I mean, you could warm up without a glove, but it would just feel really weird.
If you warm up without a glove, that's going to cost you in kangaroo court. It's kind of a prerequisite for a ball player to have a glove. Even a pitcher.
Votto faked towards second and then put on the brakes. He went around on the breaking ball. That's strike 3. Take the grande.
Can't even see what he's drinking. Doesn't matter. Extra shot.
Roland has reached once on a walk and scored. That was that big 4-run first. Set the tone for the afternoon. The Cubs have been playing catch up ever since. Well, Votto just hasn't figured out Scott Main's move, but he's been faking and leaning and stopping on just about every pitch.
A couple of false starts back in that first inning when he singled and was jockeying around over there at first base. There's a maneuver that a crafty base runner will use against a tough left-handed pitcher. Take a lead called a one-way lead. No matter what that pitcher does, you're going to first move is back toward first base, back toward first base. Every time he picks up his leg, you go back toward first base. Then you shorten your lead by a step. He sees that you've shortened up your lead, and you take off for second base on the first move. It's not a secret. A lot of major league teams use it.
Jose Arredondo up in the Reds' pen. It's giving the illusion of a short lead.
You know, and a guy that is a crafty base runner, go over and talk to the first base coach and shake your head no, like I just can't get a good read on his move. You can really sell it.
There he goes, and Roland hits it foul. And then there are the times when you go through this elaborate plan. You run and the guy fouls it off.
Takes several pitches to set it up. And finally, you pick the right spot and take off, and the batter swings and fouls it away.
Swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts.
Hey fans, tickets are available now for the 2012 Cubs season, including the rest of this homestand against these Reds and the Cardinals. To purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com, call 1-800-THE-CUBS, or visit the Wrigley Field box office.
Bring in some hot sauce, right? Please. Stacey's getting ready to sing the stretch.
No, it's not nearly as windy in the booth here as it was before Stacey came in.
Heisey looks at a strike. Slurvy breaking ball from Scott May. The throw over there.
Otto's one of those base stealers. He will pick his spots. He only stole 8 last year after 16 back in 2010. He's had as many as 24 in a minor league season, but he usually doesn't steal a base unless the Reds really need to get a runner into scoring position.
Sometimes the wind will shift during the course of a game. That has not happened today. And this ball is not going to go anywhere today as Heisey flies out to Soriano. Stacey King with a stretch.
Today's guest conductor for Take Me Out to the Ball Game, former Chicago Bull and current Bulls broadcaster Stacey King.
All right, Cubs fans, it's time to bring the hot sauce. Let me hear ya. And a 1, and a 2, and a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I never get back, 'cause it's root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame, 'cause it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Let's go, Cubs! Let's get some runs!
The 7th inning stretch conductor signs and then tosses into the stands after singing. And Stacey King gladly was going to toss it.
Is that
to
a
the fans.
first? Is that a first time?
Well,
that's ever
Andre
happened?
Dawson did it once and it ended up in the rafters, but I don't think anyone's thrown one under the roof.
That is the wind. It was strong. It was strong. You know,
Went out
I
there.
threw it out there, and it was like Dorothy and Toto in Kansas. It just blew right back up. Just disappeared. But I did throw my ball out there to a fan.
Homer Bailey still on. Marlon Byrd, fly ball right field, and Bruce had to reach out at the last possible second to make the catch. As a win, got a hold of that one. All right, Stacy. Katie Marta's going to bring you another hat. Now let's
do. I'm gonna throw it low this time.
All right, here we go.
Here we go. I'm throwing it downwards now.
There you go.
Look, the wind took that one. You can't blame me for Mother Nature. Okay, y'all can't blame me for Mother Nature.
Joe Mather will pinch hit for Scott Maine. Stacy, give us a Bulls update here. What, a game and a half up on the Heat right now?
Well, every game's a must-win game now if they want home court advantage. The lead now is 1 game. And Miami has been playing well. They won 5 or 6 in a row. We've got a tough stretch. We've got Dallas tomorrow night, who's fighting for their playoff lives, and then we end up playing Indiana on the road, and then we come back and finish with Cleveland. But regardless of where we finish, 1 or 2, the main issue is health.
And in that regard, how has the compressed schedule just affected that? You know, health and literally rebounding from back-to-back-to-back nights and that type of thing.
Well, it's been a grind. You know, I know as being an analyst, and me and Neil, we talk about how tired we are. We don't even play. So you can imagine how the players feel. With all the injuries, you know, we're not the only team that's really had the injury problems. You know, you've got the Lakers, Kobe Bryant's out right now, Dwayne Wade's been out. A lot of teams are going through the same thing the Bulls are. And, you know, right now, you know, we're starting to get guys back. We got Rip Hamilton back, who's playing extremely well for us right now. And hopefully Derek will be back before the playoff starts.
Two on the pinch hitter, Joe Mather. Swing and a miss, strike 3 as we check out the Xfinity high-speed action today.
Oh, it was good, too. I saw it in person.
Oh, is that me? Hey, somebody asked me to start today. I said, no, I can't do it. I just got back on a trip from 3:30 last night in the morning from Miami. But I came out there, baby. Hey, I didn't want to 1-hop it or 2-hop it. That was the goal. You know, that's what I try to tell my guys. They're like, oh, don't bounce it in. Don't bounce it in. But when you see an 80-year-old guy get out there and throw a strike, that kind of puts pressure on you.
Now, having played on several championship teams here in Chicago, you should have a pretty good eye for what a championship team is. Does this Bulls team have that?
Yes, they do. And again, it all goes back to how healthy they are. Derrick Rose has to be healthy for them to get to where they need to go. Rip Hamilton has come back. They're the best defensive team in the league. Defense wins championships, and they have enough to score and enough to get some points, but they have to be healthy, and that's the big key for them right now, get everybody ready for the playoffs.
And Jesus checked his swing, 1 ball, 1 strike. They're working into the 7th today with a 7-4 lead.
It's kind of easy to pitch when you get a lead in the first inning. Yes,
there you go.
He inspired me. He inspired me. I'll tell you, he did throw a little bit better than I did. I'm just going to be honest. He did. He had the ball. His hands were warm, but people didn't see this. He was over there warming up. You know, he got to go into the bullpen. He threw about 20 pitches before he came out. I didn't. And I'm just going to be honest, okay? I'm just going to put it out there that he got to warm up and I didn't. But I did bring a little hot sauce. It was mild, but I brought a little bit.
So like Colby mentioned earlier, you make a bad throw and you start blowing on your hand on a cold day. Looking at,
But you know what? This is, you know, you have an appreciation for pitchers in this type of weather. You know, you step out there, the wind's blowing, it's cold. You know, it's tough. 90 feet, you know, it's tough. And you guys guys are men up here, man. I mean, you guys got no window here. You know, the wind's blowing in your face.
We didn't notice.
I mean, I mean, this is amazing. I have a lot more respect for you guys. You know, we have it easy because we're inside, and you know, it's a nice, comfortable environment. You guys are like the brawny men off the little paper towel guy. You guys come in here. You guys can just battle through the rain, sleet, or snow. No glass. I go over to the radio guy, Keith Moreland. They've got glass, plexiglass up. The heat's on. I come over here. This is the real men's booth right here. Look at the radio guys. Look at them. Look at
sealed over there.
They got them. They're sealed in like goldfish. They're like goldfish over there. Look at them. They're warm. They're toasty. You know, they got their shoes off. They're drinking hot cocoa. I come over here. You guys got this big thing over here. The wind's blowing in our face. There's seagulls flying around us, attacking us, and you guys didn't flinch. I'm impressed.
Old foul. 3-2 on David DeJesus.
We're talking about staying healthy for the playoffs. It got a little chippy last night, didn't it?
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of that our old series with Detroit. You know, and that's where it's come to now. Both these teams, there's a dislike, there's a respect there, but you could see last night that there's a dislike there, and that's what you need. You need some chippiness. You know, the Bulls need to know that to play this team, you're going to have to match intensity. If they hit one of your guys, you hit one of their guys.
Votto will beat DeJesus to the bag. Stacey, you're the best. We enjoy you and Neil very much on Bulls television, and thanks for keeping us warm today.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Always
appreciate it,
Stacey. See the numbers for Castillo this season. He's given up runs in each of his last 2 outings. Still trying to feel his way along here at the major league level. Seems like when he throws strikes, he's pretty effective. Unfortunately, he has fallen behind in some counts and had to come in with some very hittable fastballs. And at this level, they don't miss him very often.
Willie Harris has had a good day, a double, a run, an RBI, 1 for 3 in for Brandon Phillips this afternoon. Phillips nursing a sore hamstring, and his manager didn't want him to play on this very cold afternoon. Foul tip, strike 1. Eric Chavez with 2 home runs from the 8th spot today for the Yankees. They lead the Red Sox in the 100th anniversary game at Fenway 4-1. They're in the bottom of the 4th. And for Chavez, it's his first game of at least 2 home runs since 2006, according to stats. Line and caught, leaping catch by Barney.
Spray charts don't lie. You can see how far over and toward the hole on that right side of the infield Darwin Barney was as that pitch was delivered. Had to take a couple steps to his right and a leap for the first out of the top half of the 8th.
Wilson Valdez on deck. So that means Homer Bailey done after 7. Give up 4 runs, only 1 earned run.
It's one of the better outings we've seen from Homer Bailey, and we've seen a lot of Homer Bailey. His MO used to be once through the lineup, and then the second time through, he just couldn't seem to get anybody out. Pretty darn good today, especially given that early lead.
As Zarocco fouls. Fireballing Aroldis Chapman up in the Reds bullpen. We'll probably see Sean Marshall face the Cubs for the first time. So he's got that little hand warmer, looks like.
That's some kind of chemicals and
toss it up here, Aroldis.
I'm not sure what exactly is in that thing, but you rattle it around like that. Molecules bang together. Next thing you know, your hands are warm. We need some molecules up here.
Those rare days in which it seems to be getting colder, not warmer, as we get into the late afternoon.
I think the wind's blowing a little harder too.
Yep. Ball 4. So here's Valdez. Valdez actually beat the Cincinnati Reds last year. That's right, he got the win. 825th with the Phillies. Summoned to pitch the bottom, or rather the top of the 19th. Got a scoreless inning on 10 pitches, and then Raul Ibanez hit a sacrifice fly in the bottom of the inning.
I remember watching that game. Valdez was hitting 89 on the gun. He was throwing really well.
He started that game at second base. He went 3 for 6 with a double. Runner goes, a foul pop, and it'll be Soto to make the catch, with Mesoraco getting back to first. 2 down. There's Cozart. One and nothing.
Mentioned way back in that first inning that Zach Cozart was the number 3 prospect in the Reds organization as the ball got loose from the Reds bullpen. The interesting thing is their number 2 prospect, according to Baseball America, is another shortstop named Billy Hamilton. They expect him to be quite the big league player at some point. Cozart 5 years older than Hamilton, so he's here at the big league level right now.
Castillo ready for a 1-0 pitch. It's low and inside. Got to be careful on Twitter. Chris Perez, a closer of the Cleveland Indians, has received a $750 fine from Major League Baseball for what has been called a reckless tweet after the bench clearing incident against the Royals. He finished it by saying, "P.S. You hit us, we hit you, period." I guess you can kind of hint around that kind of thing in the media, but don't tweet it.
Never understood why you say anything at all.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to get somebody on the other team, drill them. You don't have to announce it.
2 walks in the inning, and it brings up Drew Stubbs.
As long as there has been baseball, when guys get hit by a pitch and they feel it's intentional and they ask the pitcher about it, you just say it slipped.
Trying to work inside.
Trying to work inside, and
got away from
it slipped. It happens.
Perez also told the Cleveland Indians website, quote, "He's not going to change the way I tweet."
Oh, boy. Well, that's good to know. So when your tweeting career takes off and your baseball career ends, you got that going for you.
Jose Canseco has signed with the independent Worcester Tornadoes. They play in the Can-Am League. I saw quotes from him around spring training that he was begging major league teams to give him a chance, that he could still play, could still hit. And a base hit into left center for Drew Stubbs. Mesoraco will score, and it's 8-4.
Not a poor pitch, a hard slider down below the knees, but Stubbs was able to go down and dig it out. Smacked it into center field for an RBI base hit.
What a day for Mesoraco in the 8th spot. 2 walks, 2 singles, 2 runs, and his pitcher was very good today. Trying to figure out how old Jose Canseco is. Stubbs will steal second. Canseco is 47. He's still younger than Jamie Moyer. He hasn't played since 2001 in the big leagues, that is. One and 2 to Votto. 8-4 Cincinnati here in the 8th. Line into center. Marlon Byrd dives and he makes a catch. Saves a couple more runs. As it is, they get one. And now lead 8-4. But Marlon Byrd, even with his offensive struggles, has played good defense early in the year. Valdez stays in the game after pinch hitting. He'll play second, and we'll see if the cold temperatures keep the heat down for fireballing Aroldis Chapman, who's been I'd say pretty good. Ooh, look at that.
Yeah.
15 strikeouts in 8 innings and no walks. He went into spring training being groomed as a starter, and that's the role the Reds think he'll be in eventually, but because of their bullpen issues with the injuries, you've got Ryan Madsen out for the year, Tommy John surgery. Nick Massett, their setup guys with right shoulder inflammation. Bill Bray was dealing with some injuries in spring training. They decided to put Chapman in the pen as opposed to starting him at AAA in a starting role. 96 on the first pitch. Ball 1 to Darwin Barney.
Chapman with a fastball you just saw right there, and a slider. His velocity so far this season is way down from last year. He averaged 97.9 miles per hour on his fastball last season. This year so far only 96.5.
2-1. Two and two.
No question there's some serious velocity there from this long, lanky lefty, but boy, it is laser beam straight. Ball doesn't have enough time to move.
He was clocked at 105 on a pitch at San Diego in 2010, which is the fastest pitch ever recorded on the Pitch FX system. Called strike 3. Darwin Barney thought it was ball 4, and he has a couple of words and a glance for Lance Barrett.
That That one may have actually caught the corner of the plate. It's been an extremely wide strike zone today. It looked a little worse than it really was because Mesoraco had to reach for it, but according to our pitch tracks, it just caught that outside corner. It was clocked at 105 one time on Arizona State Route 87.
Chapman with a nice play. Those long arms, 2 down.
On Monday, the Cubs play host to the World Series champion Cardinals. Don't miss a minute of the action as the Northsiders do battle with their rivals at Wrigley. Coverage begins at 6:30 with Subaru Cubs pregame live. Cubs Cards Monday night at 6:30 on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend.
A rare weekday series for the Cardinals and Cubs, who normally, it seems, play on the weekends. LaHare has 2 hits and looks at a pitch low. Chapman now in his major league career, 72 innings, 36 hits, 106 strikeouts, and only 2 home runs.
I think back to last season, this particular matchup, Chapman against Brian LaHare. LaHare came with all the gaudy numbers from AAA, but we weren't quite sure how he was going to handle major league pitching. Well, against Aroldis Chapman, he drew a walk and hit a double down into the right field corner on a 97-mile-an-hour fastball up and in.
Chapman 6'4", 196, long and lean. Called strike 3. Got him on a slider at 90 miles an hour to end the inning. CIN crew, especially the guys in the elements today. Mike Meyer, Chris Kentner, JD John Dickinson. Happy birthday to you, Tom Hoover. Frank D'Amato. Nicely done.
Boy, they do such great work under any conditions. Greg Silas out in the silo.
The shack's a pretty good place to be today. The wind at your back. Jay Bruce against the new Cubs pitcher Rafael Dolis. Sinking fastball that dipped out of the zone, 1-0. pulled into right for a base hit.
Feliz hasn't been hit particularly hard in his appearances for the Cubs this year. He has walked some guys, 5 base on balls, but that heavy lead pipe sinker allows him to get some ground ball double plays to get out of self-created jams.
Inside, it's 2-0. Heisey on deck. Two on with nobody out. In the Reds bullpen. Arredondo the second time. Dusty Baker may save Sean Marshall with his team already up 4 and threatening to get more. Well, here there's a movie premiering at the Tribeca Film Festival about the knuckleball. I saw the headline here. That sounds interesting.
A movie about a knuckleball.
I don't know if it's a documentary. I would assume so. I'm intrigued.
I tell you, it's so interesting on occasion when you have a knuckleballer pitching on a big nationally televised game, possibly a postseason game, and you have that slow motion stop action camera behind home plate. That's when you really can get an appreciation for what a knuckleball does.
6-4-3. So they double up Heisey. 2 down.
Just talked about it with Dolis. He'll pitch himself into some jams occasionally, but because everything he throws is dive bombing toward the ground, he gets his share of ground balls, and they hit those at his defenders, are able to turn 2 as they just did.
Well, the movie is called Knuckleball. I guess Tim Wakefield and R.A. Dickey are spotlighted in this movie. Anyway,
Interesting.
Try to check it out. One and one on Todd Frazier, batting in the pitcher's spot. High fly ball right field. Wind is just going to take that thing from 50 feet fair to 50 feet foul. That took a huge right turn when it reached its apex.
Ball had no chance of staying fair. That looked like Stacey King's hat when he threw it out of the booth.
Well, it got to the roof, but it stayed there. Lined, and that ball is going to go for a while. To the wall. And it's a triple, a standing 3-base hit. As Todd Frazier knocks in Jay Bruce. First career triple for Frazier.
Frazier, another guy on that Baseball America list of Reds' top prospects. They're going to get a lot of playing time, some of their top prospects at the major league level this year. Todd Frazier, a gentleman with tremendous raw power, still a little rough around the edges, but showed some of that power right there.
It's 9-4. Mesoraco takes it low and outside.
That's the thing that's kind of interesting to me, Len, and the reason I mentioned the fact that these guys were prospects, because the Reds are a team that a lot of people feel is a playoff contender. Has a chance to win the Central Division this year, but yet they have a lot of young guys sprinkled in there amongst their veteran players.
Well, this is a kind of offensive performance I think a lot of Reds fans expected to see on a regular basis. One pitch. It's a strike and a slider. 1-2. Back here tomorrow afternoon, straight up noon. Mike Leake and Paul Mahalem. Swing and a miss to end the inning. Another add-on run. We go to the bottom of the ninth. Reds 9, Cubs 4. Our GMC play of the game is Homer Bailey. On a very cold afternoon, 7 innings, 4 runs, but only 1 earned is Jose Arredondo. We'll get the bottom of the ninth.
I know the guy very much like Dolis, doesn't really get hit that hard, but gets himself into trouble with the base on balls. Just as a point of reference, Alfonso Soriano has 3 plate appearances. He's walked twice against the Reds right-hander.
And that riser too high. We should note Anthony Rizzo had 2 more home runs for AAA Iowa last night. He now has 7 in the early going. And let's look at the Cubs minor league report. Rizzo with a PCL leading 7 home runs. You see Nate Sampson at AA, 4 for 4. Michael Brindley had a couple of knocks. And Andy Pettitte will face the Daytona Cubs tonight. Swing and a miss. Strike 3, 1 away. Did I hear correctly? One of Michael's hits was an infield single?
Yeah, ground ball to short and legged it out. That from his mom. That was an exciting finish to that ball game. Daeun Rhee was at the plate representing the go-ahead run in that ball game with 2 outs in the 9th inning. Hit a drive to the wall, and our buddy Mick Gillespie had me jumping up and down on the couch. Unfortunately, the left fielder for the Huntsville Stars made the play on the warning track to end the ball game.
Matt Caesar will lead off for Daytona tonight against Andy Pettitte. Inside on Stewart. 1-1.
I mentioned it yesterday from Miami. For those of you who are interested in following the Cubs minor league system, especially the AAA Iowa Cubs and the AA Tennessee Smokies. Smokies home games are televised on the internet, and I believe all of the AAA games are televised on the internet. So if you want to watch Anthony Rizzo and Brett Jackson and some of the stars of the future, dial them up tonight.
Line and caught. Boy, Ian Stewart has had, I think, 4 really good at-bats. And he's 0 for 4. He's lined out 3 times. The other time he hit the ball pretty well to the opposite field.
Nothing else you can do as a hitter. Get a good pitch, hit it hard. You can't guide it after it comes off the bat. His teammates appreciate that.
2 down. It's Soto. The Cubs trailing by 5. Slugfest in Boston today. The Yankees have hit 5 home runs. They lead the Red Sox 6-2 in the bottom of the 6th. All the homers off Clay Buchholz. Soto deep left field and caught. Again, the wind knocking it down, and that's the ball game as the Reds come into Wrigley Field and beat the Cubs 9-4, sending the Cubs to their 6th consecutive defeat. And a side note, the Reds with their 10,000th win as a franchise. So, Bob, I think the big picture question right now is about the starting pitching. We mentioned Ryan Dempster may be iffy for Sunday. The Cubs need better production out of the bottom of their rotation. Paul Mahalem gets his 3rd chance tomorrow.
Yeah, no question about it, Len. And the other side of the coin, the good thing is we're seeing more and more Cub hitters start to swing the bats. You mentioned Ian Stewart. Giovanni Soto started to hit the ball hard. Not getting the results yet, but we're starting to see that ball jump off of some of the Cubby bats. Hopefully they'll start dropping in.
So that is going to wrap up our coverage from Wrigley Field, but still more to come. For Bob Brindley and our entire CSN crew, Len Kasper saying so long from Wrigley Field. The final score, the Reds 9, the Cubs 4. Join us right back here Monday on CSN against the Cardinals, 7 o'clock Central Time. in-game scoring provided by ScorePad. You've been watching Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet, now part of the NBC Sports Group.